I am John Davis Marshall, your lifestyle architect. If my coaching can benefit your professional life or my counseling can benefit your personal life, then extend your experience with me by way of my website, www.pms123.com. And while you're there on my website, order one of my books that I have published. It will bless your life. Subscribe to Matters Magazine. You can get a monthly copy of wonderful, spiritually uplifting articles. And then check out Wisdom Where. You get a chance to place positive messages in every environment where you go without having to say a word. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Comment on this video. Let me know what you think about it. And share it in every place. Share it in your emails. Share it in your text. Place a link on all of your social media outlets. Talk to your friends, even your enemies, about the privilege they can have to learn, hear, understand positive, uplifting information. Remember, every Thursday, we explore finance matters. Pull up a chair, get a comfortable seat, get your cup of coffee or iced tea, and open your personal copy of the Word of God. And let's dig in and let Him speak to our heart, that He might educate our subconscious and conscious mind today. You've heard this: train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22 and verse number 6. You have heard it. You have read it. You have pondered it. And likely you have discussed its meaning. As a matter of fact, as you grapple with what does that verse really mean, the likelihood is very high that you have become disillusioned because you did not see playing out in reality what you actually thought that verse was teaching. You have said, wow, I know I trained this child properly, but now they are behaving so much differently. Even in their adult years, they are behaving quite differently from the way that I trained them. So what does that verse mean? And why is it that it appears my training has not caught hold of the mind of my child? Textual interpreters have suggested that this text means that parents should consider each child's unique disposition and train that child according to his individual physiology and psychology. Yes, textual interpreters come out very strongly and advocate that parents must discover the way the child should be trained in view of his psychology, his physiology, how God has uniquely crafted that child. Because after all, God has handcrafted each individual person differently. He has crafted us with different gifts, with different interests, Just as we have a different fingerprint, we have a different emotional conceptualization. And so textual interpreters would remind us that parents should learn the child and then train the child in view of who and how that child is uniquely crafted to be. There is much truth to that statement, but I'm here to tell you that there is more to that. In principle for application, that certainly is true. But there is a specific context for this particular verse. And here is what I want you to notice. Notice how God placed this statement amid several references to economics. Look at Proverbs 22 and verse 1. A good name is to be more desired than great wealth. Favor is better than silver and gold. Notice, economics. Verse 2. The rich and the poor have a common bond. Economics. Verse 4. The reward of humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Economic. Verse 7, Proverbs 22 and verse 7. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower becomes the lender's slave. Economics again. Verse 8. He who sows iniquity will reap vanity, and the rod of his fury will perish. He who is generous will be blessed, for he gives some of his food to the poor. Once again, economics. So wouldn't you think there must be some application for training the child in the area of economic wisdom? Though the principle is valid that the parent should learn the child, that's true if you're going to train anything or train the child in anything, in any discipline or any area of life. But can we make a specific application to training the child relative to financial management? First, let's observe the requirement to train up a child in the way he should go. Each child needs to be trained. Each child needs to be trained in how he should go. And parents must know how the child should go. So it's inherently required that parents know the child that they are training. So you must study your child so that you can train that child. Parents train each child in economic matters. Yes, train your child in financial matters. Unfortunately, there is so much financial mismanagement, and much of that comes because parents have simply not trained their children properly. Do not allow your child to get out of elementary school without knowing how to balance the bank account, not knowing what the monthly expenditures are for the family, and not knowing anything about budgeting and managing and balancing the financial bank account. It's a shame to let your child go through life without training. So parents must train their children in economic matters according to how God has uniquely crafted that child. Some children have been naturally crafted by God. They are free-hearted and they will give away everything. Parents need to train your child so that your child doesn't allow people to take advantage of him or her financially and give away their very necessities. Yeah, you need to know which way he should go. He needs to be taught to be more focused on his needs. But then there are some children that are selfish. You didn't teach them that way. They came into this world that way. And they wouldn't give a crippled crab a crutch. They wouldn't do anything to help anyone. So you got to train that child in financial management. Train them to be generous. Train them to be more open-hearted and considerate of others. Some children are naturally givers, but then there are others who are just naturally growers. And you need to train them in the way they should go. In each category, they may need to be taught and trained away from, out of, to some degree, their natural perspective. And then second, let's observe the result of this training. This training lasts a lifetime. Parents, when you train your child, and that child has embraced your training, when he is old, he will continue to honor the economic values of his earlier life. There's not likely a person you know that was trained to be open-hearted, and they were brought up in that environment, and the parents succeeded, and now they are elderly and have abandoned it. Absolutely not. Though there may be a principle that parents need to know your child, train them in the way they should go, I believe the immediate application is in the area of financial responsibilities. So parents, our work is cut out for us. Let's make sure that our children and that our posterity goes into the next generation more knowledgeable and with a greater level of financial strength than we have. But it only will happen if you will train, not just speak a time or two, not just hope that they learn it, but train them. I'm your lifestyle architect. If my coaching can benefit you professionally, or my counseling can benefit you personally, then extend your experience with me by way of my website, pms123.com. And while you're there on my website, bless your life, order one of my books. I've written the books so you can get the information and the wisdom. As a matter of fact, there is a good book for your child. It's called Show Me the Money. I tell parents, if your children are adults and they are still in your bank account, don't give them another dime until they read the book, Show Me the Money. Show Me the Money. And then I wrote a book called Reparations, Breaking the Poverty Cycle. I recommend that. And then there are 2 volumes, volumes 1 and 2, of Faith, Family, and Finances. They'll go a long way in helping you to train your children in the way in which they should go relative to economic expertise. And while you're there, order one of my books and then subscribe to Matters Magazine and check out Wisdom Wares. Give you an opportunity to take wisdom everywhere you go without ever opening your mouth or saying a word. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, comment on this video. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are, and then share this video with people everywhere you have an opportunity to do so. Indeed, it is true. A better you begins with a grace view of God. That's why we want you to be gripped in his grace and mesmerized by his mercy.